Today's video is about jacking up the car, lowering the car, torquing the lug nuts on your wheel, and in the end we'll do a little special feature about taking the fuse out so that your car is loud all the time, if you'd like to do it. So anyway, first of all I want to show you something I'm using today. I got this idea from somebody a few years ago on the internet. This is a hockey puck. You go to the local ice rinks, they're throwing these out after they're beat up a little bit. Take it home, drill a 1/4-inch hole, get about a 4-inch screw, put the 4-inch screw in here like this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a washer on here. You put these in any order you want, and I'm going to put a nut in here. I'm going to screw this nut on, a couple more washers, couple more washers, and another nut. And the reason I'm doing this is because there is a jacking hole in each corner of the car. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this metal part as a guide to go into the jacking hole that's on the undercarriage of the car, that's on the frame of the car. And this will work as a guide. Simple. Cost me $1 or something. I got 3 of these screws. I can make 3 pucks out of it. So what we're going to do now is go out in the garage and jack the car up, show you how to lower the car where the lowering bolt is. I've already lowered my car as far down as it goes, so I'll show you that. And then talk about torquing the lug nuts on your car, and then finally how to take that fuse out so your exhaust is nice and loud all the time. If you want to do that, I'll show you that too. So let's go out in the garage. So with this side skirt, in order to jack up the car, it becomes a little more interesting. And what I'm going to have to do is slide the jack under there first and get by the skirt, get to the jacking point on the car. When you'll see a hole, you can stick your finger up in the hole. You'll know where the hole is. It's the only hole on the front part of the car down here. And there's another one on the back side of the car down here. And of course, the same thing on the other side of the car. Can you see that hole there? I'm going to put my finger right in it. There's the hole. That's the hole. And that's the hole where the jack is going to, where the puck is going to go in. Now let me get the puck and hold on just a minute. And maybe if I put the flashlight down here, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. Let me see if that helps, if you can see any better if I put some light on it. Where is that hole? There it is, right there. That's the hole. There's the hole. There's the hole where the jacking puck is going to go in. It's right there. I'll put my finger way up in the hole here. You can see. I think you can see. Yep, that's the hole. So I'm going to put the puck in there, and then I'm going to put the jack under the puck and jack the car up. So I've slid the jack under here and just cranked it up just a little bit so I make the hockey puck nice and snug against the undercarriage here of the frame, and I guess you call it the frame. So we're ready to go. I'm clear of the just clear of the side splitter, so I'm not going to hit that. That's good. And I'm ready to jack the car up, and then I'm going to show you where the screw is and how you can lower your car. And it's a very simple process, actually. So the next thing we want to do before we jack up the car is loosen the lug nuts. So I'd suggest to you, because if you don't do that, you get the car up there and you start to loosen the lug nuts and the wheel spins and you can't get any grip or any leverage. So you have a devil of a time getting the lug nuts off. They're at 100 foot-pounds of torque, so they're not going to be easy to get off. They're not hard, but they're not easy. Another way to do this is to turn your steering, all the way to the right and reach in that way and get the, not that you need to turn to change the ride height, but I found that to be a total P in the A. So it's much easier to take the damn wheel off. So and it's a good time, if you haven't had your wheel off in a long time, it's a good time to take your wheel out and clean the inside, because it gets all crapped up, and I think after a while you get enough crud in the inside of the wheel, it's going to change the balance of the wheel a little bit on you. It might not balance it just as well, so who knows. Take it off and clean it up. Wheels look great. Or in my particular case, when I did that, when I took my wheel off, I painted that Z06 over there in the bottom left-hand corner. I painted that, and so I did two birds with one stone, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to loosen the lug nuts. I don't think you want to watch that. I'll take the lug nuts and loosen them. We'll jack the car up and take the wheel off, and then we'll show you where we have to get the lowering bolt and how you lower it. All right, I've loosened the lug nuts. I'm going to go over here and jack up the car. And as it goes up, you want to get it fairly high, because you have to put a jack stand under there. And I'll show you what I mean. Let me go over and get the jack stand. Harbor Freight, they were just a few bucks. Pretty inexpensive. This jack stand is going to go under the leaf spring that goes across from wheel to wheel. And so we'll take that jack stand, and the idea is to put the jack stand under the leaf spring and then lower the car just enough so it takes pressure off the leaf spring. I might put a little block of wood on there, by the way, too. Instead of putting metal right on the fiberglass leaf spring, I'll put a small block of wood. So let me take the wheel off and we'll go in and go with the rest of this. Okay, we've got the wheel off, as you can see. And we're going back. And what I've done, while we took the wheel off, I took the jack stand and see, if you look, you can see the fiberglass leaf spring right there. And I put that green cloth there so you can see right under that is the jack stand. Now the jack stand's about, a half an inch from touching the leaf spring. And what I want to do is start lowering the car so it takes up onto the leaf spring and pushes that up just a little bit. And what it will do is it will loosen the screw that I want to use, that I have to turn to either make this car go higher or go lower. So hold on, I'm going to do that right now. Let me just lower it a little bit. Okay, so now I've lowered the jack so that the leaf spring is resting lightly on the jack stand. And over here you will see that screw. See that screw right there? That's the one that you're going to turn. And you're going to turn it counterclockwise to go up, to make it lower, I should say, and clockwise if you wanted to make the car go up. So to lower it, turn it counterclockwise, 10mm wrench, put it on there and turn it. If you try to turn it and it doesn't turn very well, you need to lower the car just a tad more. You got to take a little more, put a little more pressure on that leaf spring to bring it up a little bit, almost to the point where you can hand turn it. It's very, very easy. If it's not very easy to turn, you're making it too hard for yourself. So that's it. I've put mine, as you can see, that screws all the way up by turning it counterclockwise. I've turned mine as far as it can go. And so by turning it as far as it can go, I have, let's see, where are we here? Got the light on it. I've put it as high as I can possibly unscrew that. So that's that's the deal. Simple enough. Do that to all four corners. Jacking's pretty much the same on the back. Make sure you go to the jacking hole on the back of the car. There's one right down near the edge of the door there. That's the other one. Same procedure. Put the jack stand under the leaf spring and put the pressure on the leaf spring so it'll make that screw real easy to turn. And you can do all four corners of your car in about, depends how long it takes. The hardest part's taking the wheels on and off. Okay, I've got the jack stand back up from under the car. I had to jack it up a little bit to get it out. And now I've put the wheel back on the car and I've hand tightened the lug nuts. This is a very important thing. First of all, get yourself a torque wrench, a good one. Don't go cheap on it. This is a pretty good one. It's not the greatest one, but it's a good one. And two things. When you start to tighten the lug nuts, first of all, drop the car down so it's just touching a little bit, not heavily on the, don't let it release all the way, but get it about halfway. I've got to put my two boards back under here. I'll lower it down on there, and then I'm going to tighten the lug nuts about halfway. Maybe 100 pounds is you're supposed to tighten them at 100 foot-pounds of torque. So I'm going to kind of guesstimate around 50, and I'm going to go in a star pattern. I'll go from here to here to here to here to here. I go into these shops and I see guys taking the car and they go zzz, 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 and they are using that impact wrench, and that drives me crazy. It absolutely goes up my butt. I just can't bring myself to let anybody use one of those impact wrenches on my car. It just drives me nuts. And there was a time for a while there when you'd get the car, you would get one locking lug nut, and so the guy at the dealership would take this lug nut off and put it back on at 30, 40, 60, 140, whatever foot-pounds of torque. And this one would be way off compared to the others. And you could run into a few problems down the line. Supposedly warp rotors and this and that. I've never seen one, but it's a good thing to stay away from, and it's really good to try to, if you're going to have any new wheels put on your car, I would take them off my own car. I'd get either 4 jack stands. Yeah, I'd go and spend the money and get 4 jack stands, put the car in jack stands, and then take the wheels off and take them down to the place. Unless I knew the guy real well and he knew he was going to take care. But you usually have to stand over them and say, hey, star pattern, please, 100 pounds only. And torque them about 50 pounds first, then go around star pattern the second time at 100 pounds. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to show you, it's kind of boring. But 50 pounds, around 50 pounds first, and then go to 100 pounds. And I think you're going to be in good shape. You're taking real extra special care of your wheels and tires. This car is such a great car. It deserves a lot of extra care on our part. And again, I can't thank General Motors enough for making this great car, and it doesn't cost $200,000. It's a fantastic car. It's a great. Okay, the last part of this video is how to pull out the fuse, which I've already done, but I'll show you where it is. How to pull out the fuse so your exhaust is wide open all the time, instead of waiting until about 3,000 RPMs and finally it sounds great. You can have the car sound great all the time. I keep this in case I'm going on a trip and maybe it'll get a little bit of a drone and I don't like it. I can always stick this back in. It's no big deal. In and out is real easy. So how do you get at it? Well, you got to go to the fuse box. I remember the fuse box used to be under the kick panel on the driver's side. It's not anymore. It's right up here. It's nice. So just go over here and then release these two tabs here, push them forward and pull the box up. Now the next thing you want to do is you want to look and say, where is that fuse? Well, I'm going to give you a hint. It's number 42. And if you look at number 42 on here, it says exhaust BLV. That's the one you want, number 42. So now I want to orientate this so this schematic goes with what I see over here, so I know where the heck the fuse is. So right now I've got it orientated correctly. Fuse number 42 is right here. So that means if I go over here 42 belongs, I'll show you where it goes. It belongs right in here. So if I wanted to put it back in, I just put it back in there, and then it would work the way it comes from the factory. But I leave it out. It's a 20 amp fuse. It's yellow. You can probably pick it off just by the color, but pick that out and try it. I think you'll like it. I really enjoy it without. I mean, this is a performance car. It isn't a Lexus. So sometimes it helps to have needle nose pliers to pull it out. Sometimes you can get it out with your finger, depends. I don't know. So then just put the cover back on, and away you go, and you're nice and loud. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for stopping by. If you'd hit the subscribe, that would be great. If you liked the video, hit the like button. And we'll see you next time. And I've got something very interesting coming up. We're going to do something inside the engine here. I won't point to anything in particular, but that's the next video. I think we'll have fun with that. Thanks for watching. See you next time.